Good morning, all of
Ah,
you. Welcome to the Parul University webinar series. Today, we have arranged a webinar on power system protection, which can be delivered by Mr. Madhusudan Swadhya sir. He is the retired superintendent engineer in Gujarat Energy Transmission Company. Shortly, we can say as a JETCO. He have more than 40 plus experience into the transmission line and serve as a superintendent engineer and various project he have done into your in his service. So Aditya sir to deliver the lecture. Welcome, sir. Hello, Swadhya sir. You can continue your webinar, sir.
ah, okay. Good morning, everybody, students of Parul University, for the webinar arranged on protection of transmission line. Next. Now, the lines have two conditions. One is a normal condition and second is a fault condition. In normal condition, only normal current or the load current is flowing in all three phases of the line. That depending upon the load, the current will be flowing all the three phase lines. And if it is a balanced load, in the EHV line, it must be the balanced load. And if rural feeder is there might be a slight mismatch. But otherwise, almost balanced current is flowing in all three lines. Now, second condition is a fault current. Fault condition. That is the normal current is flowing in healthy phases while the fault current is flowing in the fault. Suppose if it is a single phase to ground fault, suppose R phase is faulted, so the fault current will be flowing in the R phase while Y and B will be carrying the normal current. So the first we differentiate what is the normal condition of the line and second in the abnormal. Whenever the fault is arise, the line will be interrupted. And how line will be interrupted, that we'll see next slide. Next. Now, types of fault. What are the different types of fault taking place on the transmission line? First is a phase to ground fault, phase to phase fault, three phase fault, and three phase to ground fault. Now, majority of our faults are phase to ground fault, and then very minor faults are phase to phase fault. And three phase fault and three phase to ground are rare to occur. It has some theoretical explanation only, but our majority of our faults are single phase to ground fault. Next. So here, this is the pictorial view of the fault when the fault is taking place. It is three-phase fault or three-phase ground fault, or here this R phase is open down. As it is not a fault, but here it is a open circuit takes place, and B and C is a normal condition. Next. Now, types of fault. There are two types of fault. One is a symmetrical fault and second is a asymmetrical fault. Next. Now, symmetrical fault, the fault which involve all three phases, line to line, three phase to line and ground fault, all phases to the ground when line charged with the earthing switch provided on isolator. Suppose the earthing has remained, earthing is left out on the isolator. And suppose if we charge the line, if we try to charge the line without taking out the earthing, so it is the heavy fault. So it is only a three phase to ground. When the fault current in all the three phases will be same. Suppose three phase to three phase fault R, Y, and B. If all three phases are sorted, then then this is also a symmetrical fault when the fault current will be flowing all same in all three phases. This not frequently in the system, rarely occur. It's a rare chance to occur this type of fault. Next, this is a symmetrical diagram of the symmetrical fault. Here it is shown that I think there is some mismatch of the slide. Here three phases, yes, okay. Here the all three phases are sorted. A to B to C means R phase sorted with Y, Y to B. So this is a three-phase fault. And if it is a three-phase to ground, then R phase sorted with Y, Y phase is sorted with B, and B is to the ground. So in both the cases, the fault current in all the three phases will be same. So this is the symmetrical fault, but this carries only a theoretical concept. In practice, it will never happen because it is considered the worst condition of the fault. Next. Now, asymmetrical fault. Asymmetrical fault means fault where the only single phase or two phase will fault current will be different from the other normal phase. Suppose R phase to ground is taking place, then R phase there will be a fault current in the R phase, but in Y and P there will be a load current or the normal current. Suppose if it is taking a current of 500 ampere, so in R phase is faulted, then R phase current will be 10 times or 8 to 10 times. So it will be a 5 kiloampere current in the R phase to ground fault. And suppose Y and B phases are normal, then it will be carrying only a 500 ampere. Similarly, RY, suppose two phases are sorted with the ground and other phase is healthy. So similarly, R and Y, YB and BR. So same thing is other. So all these conditions are considered as a asymmetric fault. So here also there is a single phase to ground fault are normally coming, where double phase to ground or phase to faults are very rare to come. Next. So this is the diagram how the single phase to earth is taking place. Suppose one of the A phase means R, B means Y, and C means equivalent to B phase. So if A phase is sorted here, suppose A, B phase are sorted with the ground here, all phase to phase faults. Now next. This is also one of the type of fault where two phases of the suppose there are two parallel lines are glowing, double circuit lines. Suppose one station, two circuits are going, and if the R phase fault on the other R phase, then there is a chance of asymmetrical fault. Second, here the conductor is opening out, open circuit. Suppose upon R phase is opened out and Y and B phase is normal, then this is also a type of fault where the one circuit is open, one phase is opened out. But unless this fault, this phase touches to the ground and registered as a fault, it will not fail. So there is another feature that will indicate this is the open circuit that will discuss in the incoming slide. Next. Now in fault statistics, what are the types of fault? The transmission line, bus bar, transformer, generator, CT, PT, and miscellaneous. Here it is a majority 85%, 12%, 3%, 7%, and 9%. So our majority of the faults taking place in the system are the transmission line faults. And in the transmission line fault also the majority will be single phase ground. And as I told you, there's very rare chance to occur a two-phase face-to-face fault or three-phase fault or double phase to ground fault. Next. Now single phase to ground, it is at 85, then it is a 7% and 5. So once again out of 85 also 100%. So it is 85%, 7%, 5%. So three-phase faults are very rare to occur on actual practice in the transmission line. Next. Now protection system. Now Till now, we have seen the what are the types of fault, how the fault are taking place. Now we'll see the what is the significance of protection system. Why we want to protect the system or why we want to isolate the system. Suppose if we do not provide any protection or do not isolate the process, what will happen actually on the line that we'll see in this slide. Protection system cannot prevent the fault but minimize damage to the system at the time of fault. Yes, there are fault is bound to happen. So you cannot prevent the fault, but the more damages occurring on the system that you can avoid it, because by safely isolating the line from the fault, because fault cannot be persisted for a long time. Removing fault as soon as possible and isolate the faulty part from healthy system. So there are two, whenever the fault is taking, there are two things happening. One is the healthy portion and second is the unhealthy portion. So we have to isolate the unhealthy portion from the healthy portion as in least time as possible. Otherwise, there will be a very havoc takes place. Chaos will be taking place in the power system. Now, advanced feature of protection system is to re-establish the faulty equipment into service after clear fault. So it is called auto reclosing scheme. So we will discuss in the whenever we go to the auto reclosing in scheme. But very roughly, I will explain you. Okay, suppose there are two types of fault taking place in the system. One is a transient fault and one is a permanent fault. Suppose transient fault is taking place on the line, so we will not disturb the line, interrupt the line permanently. But if it is a permanent fault, then we will isolate the line, strip the line permanently unless the fault is clear and get attended. So if it is a transient fault, we will immediately re-establish the line into service so that the uniformity of the power will be maintained. So that portion, this thing will be taken care by the auto reclose scheme of the distance protection scheme. This will go whenever at the time we will discuss in some more detail. Next. Now, protection system main objective is to isolate the faulty part as soon as that we discussed. Protection system second objective is to operate power system in a stable position. So our main objective is that anyhow our system must be stable. Our ultimate aim or ultimate wish of any consumer is that that consumer always wants the power supply at 24 hours with a suitable voltage and suitable frequency. So we want that it should be stable. Stability should not be disturbed. So with the help of the proper protection scheme, we are able to give the power in a required manner. Protection system third objective prevent the catastrophic failure. So there should not catastrophic failure. We want to avoid it. So suppose if the fault is taking place on the line, and if as early as possible, if we cannot isolate the fault, there will be a failure of equipment. Then heavy damages will be taken place. Suppose in the immediate case, if we isolate, then there will be a less damage on the line as well as in the substation equipment. So there catastrophic failure and the human accident. So our main third objective is to prevent the catastrophic. So this is also one of the significance of our power protection of transmission line. Next. Protective system is most important feature of power system design aimed at minimizing damage to the equipment and interruption to service in the event of fault. So there are two different things. Okay, we want to avoid the damage to the equipment as well as interruption to service in the event of fault. Suppose the line is faulty, so that we want to if we allow the fault current to pass through for longer period of the time, then that particular equipment will be damaged. And second thing, suppose if it is not taking place, if the interruption is not taking place in time, then it will also damage the entire system of the grid. It may be a state grid, it may be a national grid, so like that. So both the things should be our main importance. We want to stop the damage of the equipment, at the same time the interruption to the healthy system, because the unhealthy system should be isolated, but healthy system should be run as it is. It is therefore cofactor among the other factors resorted to improve the reliability of the power system. So our reliability is very important. Next. नहीं एक आगल लो तो one please take previous slide. Yes, correct. Okay. Now requirement of protection system. What we expect? Please hold it. What we expect from the protection system? When we went through the so many significance of the protective system. Okay, what actually our purpose? What is the significance of protection? Now, what we expect from the protection system? First is the reliability. It must be reliable. Whenever there is a fault, it must operate. But when there is no fault, it should be silent. So this is the reliability of the system. It should not operate episodically. Otherwise, it will mal-operate. So in other ways, there are two portions. One is the internal fault or external fault, or one is the internal fault and through fault. So in internal fault only, the faulted section, only at that time that particular relay should operate. In through fault, if proceeding relay may not operate at that time, should operate as a backup relay. So it is called reliability. Selectivity, it should select the fault. Suppose if it is the first 80% or 20%, 20% or next section, like that, it should be able to select which is the faulty section, which is not the healthy section, unhealthy section. So this is called selectivity. Third is the speed. Our relay, suppose isolate the fault, it is a one portion. But how much time it should take, it is very important. Suppose my fault in the zone 1, if it has to be operate within 20 milliseconds, it must operate within 20 milliseconds. It should not get more time. Otherwise, the fault current will be continuously flowing through the line and through equipment, and that will damage the system. So simply operation of the relay is not important. How much time, because our relay must isolate the fault in a millisecond. So in millisecond also it should be a 20 millisecond or 30 millisecond or 300 millisecond. Like that, there is a difference. So it is a very big criteria. Zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, like that. Now stability, it should be stable. So in normal condition, it should not operate, but it should only operate in the abnormal condition. Sensitivity, it should sense the fault. Its sensitivity should be very high. Immediately should pick up the fault, like that. Next. Now we have seen what are the importance of protection system and what we really expect from the protection. Now what are the equipment that are associated with our protection system? The collective term which cover all equipment used for initiating isolation of faulted section from the power system. Now include relays, input device CT, PT, DC, battery, shunt means it is a charger. AC-DC wiring and interconnection. All these things are the accessories for making the relay operative in the faulted condition. Because only the relay, it is not the only relay which is coming in the picture whenever there is a fault. All this has to work in a proper manner. Protective relay minor system parameters such as current, voltage, power, impedance, protective relay monitors system parameters such as current, voltage, power, impedance, frequency, etc. and operate when this exceeds a set threshold. So depending upon the type of the relay, suppose if it is a backup relay, then it is a current will be sensed. If it is a voltage operated relay, suppose it is a over voltage relay, then it will measure the voltage. And if it is it goes beyond the set value, then is the power, then impedance. Suppose if it is a distance relay, then frequency if it is under frequency relay. So according to the relay used for, these all things monitors, and when it exceeds the threshold value, set value, what we have set according to the line, it should operate. Next. Now this is the analogy with our human body. Suppose relay is analogous to our brain. Second is the eyes, ear, nose, skin, other CTs and CVTs and PTs, and hands and legs are circuit breakers. So if all three function perfectly, then our fault will be isolated. If one of the things getting problematic, then our fault will not be isolated, and our main purpose is not solved. Next. Now, element of protection. Protection system usually comprise of 5 component current and voltage transformer to step down the high voltage and current to the electrical power system to convenient level. So we know that there is a instrument transformer, what we call as CT and PTs and CVTs, because whatever the current flowing in the line, it is of very high order, 300 ampere, 400 ampere, that we cannot give to the relay for its operation. Because its rating is always like this: 1 ampere CT, 1 ampere, then 110 volt DC and 110 volt AC. So 1 ampere means it is 300 or 600/1 ampere from CT that is given to the protection scheme. Suppose it is a 100 volt AC means, suppose if it is a 220 kV line or 400 kV or 132 kV, we use a PT or a CVT. Then we step down, so 132 kV by 110 volt, or 220 kV by 110 volt, or 400 kV by 1, and that 110 volt we give to the relay for its function. Now protect, send the fault and initiate report is there. Now circuit breaker. Circuit breaker also the very important part of our switchgear protection, because after the relay, once the relay gets operating correctly, it will give tripping command to the breaker via tripping relay. So if when we give the tripping command to the breaker, it must get operated. Suppose if it is not operating, the fault will be persistent. So even though our CT and CVT or PT are all right, even though our relays are operated perfectly in time, but if circuit breaker fails to operate, then fault will not be isolated. So there will be again a problem, and that we will see when the circuit. Suppose if there is a mechanical fault in the circuit breaker, and if the fault is remain persistent, because we see that anyhow we must understand in the system once fault takes place, we have to remove the fault by either one or other way. So if the circuit breaker fails due to any problem, then other way of opening isolating the fault, that we'll see in the next slide. That we call as an LBB, local breaker backup. Now batteries is an important part of the protection scheme. Generally being substation, we call batteries the heart of the substation, because battery provides a DC supply to the breaker as well as relay. So if DC fails, even though the current voltage is monitored, the relay will not operate, the breaker will not operate, and the fault will not be isolated. Next. Now this is the pictorial of the city. When we go in the yard, this city will look like this. These are the primary terminals. These are the secondary terminals. And from that we will here at this point the P1, P2 is called primary, where the main line, and from the secondary box it is taken out. Next. This is the secondary connection. You must be knowing that there are different cores of the CT. In primary, it is P1 and P2. In secondary, it is S1, S2. But there are different core. It is not a single core CT, but it is a multi-core CT. Core 1, core 2, core 3, core 4, core 5, 4, and core 5. So depending upon the class of the core, we should use for its purpose. Next. It is a multi-ratio CT as well as different multi-class CT. Here I have drawn the diagram how the wiring is being done with the help of this CT secondary, in CT secondary. So there are two sides of the CT. One is a primary P1 and second is a P2. One is a bus side or a transformer side, and second is a line side. So if you see, there are two terminals. In the front side P1 and below side it is P2. So there is a rule in the protection. Whatever side you want to protect, at that time you have to form a star point. So if you protect the line, so if it's a distance protection or a backup protection, and if you protect the line, so towards the line you have to make the star point. And the bus side pilot or bus side wire, you have to take it out to the relay. So in the drawing also, I will see, when I show you the drawing, I will see where it is how it is connected. But only thing is, as a protection engineer, we should know that the pilot or the wire connected towards the line side must be sorted. Suppose if it is S1 and S2, the S2, 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 3, it is sorted, and one we should form a one wire, and that will go in the in the relay for connect as a neutral, and 3 S1 should be taken out to the relay like this. Okay, next. Now this is the nameplate of the transformer, CT current transformer. If we do not go too much in details, so we see that there is a 0.5 PS, PS and PS. So 0.5 is for metering, PS for protection system. So when we have a lecture on the instrument transformer, this thing will be detailed in the discuss. But only thing, there are different ratios of the CTs, 300, 600, 1200. So we have to use different ratio according to our load current. And according to the, suppose 1200 we use for the bus bar because it is the highest current, fault current will be going. In 300 and 600, depending upon our conductor, suppose if it is a dog conductor, we use a 300 ratio. Suppose if it is a panther conductor or a moose conductor, 600 ratio. So depending upon the CT ratio, because if we connect to 300 bar 1, so whenever there is a 300 ampere current will be flowing, only 1 ampere will be flowing in the secondary. If we connect with the 600 bar 1, so if 600 current, secondary will be 1 ampere flowing in the relay as well as for the metering purpose. Okay, next. Next. Now this is the picture of the battery room, where this different battery, how they are connected, different battery sets, and from battery here the two wires will be going to the DC, providing the DC to the system breaker, as well as this is only so how the batteries are installed in our substation, just to make you aware of the understand. Next. Now in CTs also, as I told you, there are different cores. Multi-core CTs are there. In always, yes, you won't find a single core CT, but there will be a multi-core CT, 3 core, 4 core, 5 core like this. So depending upon the class of the CT, you use the function. Suppose B11, B31, different ferroling is being done, and with the help of English letter A, C, D, we use for the particular protection. Suppose metering, we give ferroling as a D11, 31, 51. Overcurrent or fault is we use a C letter. If it is a differential or distance, we use as a like that. Next. Now this is a potential transformer where we take out the PT, that is a voltage. Primary is a full rating, it is a 220 kV or 130 kV, and in the secondary it is a 110 volts. So 110 volts will be used for the protection as well as metering purpose. There might be a 2-core PT or 3-core PT depending upon the class. Again here it is a 0.5, it is for the metering purpose, and PS class, the special protection class, is used for the protection of distance protection or the backup protection. Next. This is also a nameplate of the capacitor voltage transformer or a PT. So we can use PT as well as PT or a CVT. Generally we use for the 132 kV, 220 kV use for the PT. While in the 400 kV you go for the capacity voltage transformer. So capacitor works as a bridge. So we may not have to go for a higher rating potential transformer. Next. Now, what are the types of protections that we provide in the transmission line? So main protection of the lines are the distance protection for transmission line and differential on REF for the transformer. You must be knowing differential, but REF is also one of the advanced protection used in the field for internal fault of the transformer. Now backup protection is the overcurrent or threshold protection for the transmission, and LBB for breaker, and bus bar is for the buses. So as I told you, suppose there is a problem in the breaker, then the local breaker backup will be there, and that will isolate the fault by isolating the complete bus. And in bus bar also, if there is a fault on any of the bus, we have to isolate the faulty bus from the healthy bus. Next. Now, next, our protection, what are the protection of that we went through. Now, different discrimination of scheme of transmission line and their comparison. Now, unit protection and non-unit protection. Unit protection scheme that operates fault within the zone. Here, the zone of protection is decided on the basis of current. Suppose if we take the example of transformer, say in transformer there are two CTs provided. One is on the primary side and the one is the secondary side. So between two CT fault is taking place, then it will be isolated by differential fault. Here we fix up the zone of protection, and that's why it is called a unit protection. CT includes every fault point inside the CT where the measurement of current is carried out. Differential protection is the best example of unit protection. So the unit protection does not involve time grading as the faster speed of response is independent of the fault severity. So here unit protection is the fastest protection because it does not depend upon the current. It immediately, if the fault is found between two cities, then it will be immediately isolated. Next. Now in differential protection also, we know that there are two types of faults. One is a through fault and another is an internal fault. Here if the fault is taking place outside the bus, suppose, outside the city, the fault will not be isolated because it is outside the, it is considered a through fault. But when it is taking place between cities, then it will be interrupted instantaneously without any time delay. So it is called unit protection or a differential protection. Next. Now non-unit protection. The scheme achieves protection using grading of successive relay is called non-unit protection. Now non-unit overcurrent and distance protection are this type. First, zone of protection, zone of reach distance relay is restricted to 80 to 90% due to CT CVT mismatch. So here whenever the distance protection are there, when we want to protect the complete line, suppose if it is a 100 kilometer line from A to B. So we'll not set the line full 100 kilometers, but we'll restrict up to 80%. So that there is a, suppose there is an error in the CT or error in the CVT, so that line will not relay will not overreach, because if it overreaches, then it will unnecessarily disturb the healthy line. So in that case, we keep the factor of safety margin as a 20%. So we consider the first zone as a zone 1 as a 80% of the line, and in 20% for remaining adjacent lines, we take as a 50% as a zone 2, like that. So here we put a step. Therefore, it is not possible to get the instantaneous operation throughout the entire lane. So protective zone can overlap into other, which is as a backup protection. So zone 2 in the other line, other adjacent line, will be covered as a backup protection. Now here, this is the diagram, zone 1, zone 2 and zone 3. So first 80% will be covered in zone 1 with the instantaneous. In second, zone 2 plus adjacent section 50%, and zone 3 will be remaining portion will be taken as zone 3. Similarly, when we look back from the opposite side, first 80% plus 20% plus adjacent 50% and remaining percent will be zone 3. So here it is a step protection. Next. Same thing shown in the other way around. So here it is first 80, then. Now backup or a non-unit protection. So this is also a backup protection diagram. Here it is taken from between CT to CT, but it is also time dependent. It is not as fast as differential protection. Next. Now non-unit protection. So primary or a distance, secondary or backup protection over current. So in primary, in lines, we have two protection. First is a distance protection and another is a overcurrent earth fault protection or a backup protection. So what are the features, advantage of distance protection? It is a distance protection, very fast in operation, independent of fault current, and does not depend upon the source impedance to the fault impedance. So very fast in operation because it has first 80% will be covered in the zone 1, it will instantaneously. Second, it is independent of the fault current. Whatever, because it measures the impedance of the line. Whatever, suppose our fault impedance it comes under the reach of SAT impedance. Suppose if we have SAT as a 3 ohm and our fault impedance comes 2 ohm, then it will immediately operate like that. So it is not measuring dependent on the fault current. So it is because in backup relay what happens, it measures the fault current. The fault current is high, the time will be less, but the fault current is less, the time will be more. So it and does not depend the source impedance to fault impedance. Because that also affects because if our source impedance is less and fault impedance is high, this our source is weak. So in that case also, current fed from the source will be less, will be of an order of low quantity, and that will increase our time. Next. Now distance protection, there are two times, once again without carrier and with carrier added. So that what is carrier, what without carrier, that also we'll see in the next slide. Because in this distance protection, we have seen that the first 80% is covered in the zone 1. So remaining 20% in zone 2, remaining 20% plus 50% of the adjacent line. So zone 1 is 80 instantaneous, but zone 2 will be the 300 milliseconds. So suppose fault is taking place in remaining 20% of the line, then what happens? Fault will be cleared, fault will be persisting for 300 milliseconds. So if we do not want the 300 fault be persisted for 300 milliseconds, then we have to use the carrier added scheme to trip the line instantaneously, even the fault is in the zone 2. So the remaining 20% only. So in that case, we use the carrier added scheme, and we isolate the fault in the first 80% as well as remaining 20% in the instantaneously only, and that is only 20 milliseconds. Because if they because to avoid the damage of the system, or criticality of looking to the criticality of the system, we always use the carrier added scheme. Now in JETCO, we all our all EHV scheme are carrier added, so that the zone 2 time 20% of the line, that a complete zone will be isolated instantaneously only. Now backup protection over current used in backup to the distance. Suppose distance does not operate, or it takes too much time for operate, or if the fault is zone 2 and if there is no carrier, so there will be a racing in the distance and backup. And suppose if the fault current is high, then backup will be sent prior to the distance. So that in that case, backup will be useful. So operation time depends upon the fault current. What happens here? We have current setting as well as voltage setting. If the current goes beyond the set value, then it will operate. Time grading difficult when source at far end, because when the source at far, we have to grade the time, and it is very difficult when there is a complex system. Next. Now backup protection, directional, non-directional. There are two systems, directional as well as non-directional. Now directional operates in a forward direction only. Used in the ring means costly but not mal operation. Next. Now what is the non-directional relay? Operate in both directions, forward as well as reverse direction. Used in the radial figure. In the last lecture of PSRI, you must have come across there are two types of the system, radial as well as ring main. In the rural system, it is called radial, and in urban system or urban city area, we use a radial feeder for the stability of the system. So in non-directional stick, but chance of mal operations are many. Now comparison of unit and non-unit protection. That we gone through first again. Faster in operation. This scheme is not affected by the ratio of source impedance to impedance from relay to the fault. Differential relay is the best example of unit protection that we had seen. Now here the reach of the distance relay is highly affected by fault resistance, mutual zero coupling and shunt capacitor in remote feed end. Now first zone of reach of the distance relay is restricted up to 80-90% of the line because of the transient overreach. Therefore, it is not possible to achieve that. I explained. Now over current relay. Next. नहीं तो अड़मा still next okay, yeah, thank you. Over current relay. Now we see what is over current backup relay. Please okay. Whenever the current exceeds preset value, it will sense as some abnormality in the system and make some device to operate. Now the relay is a device that open or close the contacts to cause the operation of the other electric control. It detects intolerable or undesirable condition with assigned area and gives command to the circuit breaker to disconnect the affected, thus protect the system from it. So whenever the fault is taking place on the line, and if the current is more than the preset value of the over current relay, it will operate and it will give command to the breaker, and our voltage area will be isolated from the healthy area. It will register as abnormality. Next. Now the main features of the relay. मैं का पानी लाऊंगा प्लीज. Now, two main feature of the first is the setting and third is the characteristic. So as we have discussed that whenever any current or voltage goes beyond the setting, it will operate. But how will it will operate? That is also a important thing. Every relay or everything else is characteristics. So we see how the different relays, different characteristics, and how it will operate, and how it is designed to operate in different relay are designed to operate in different way also. Next. Now there are four types of characteristics in backup relay. Instantaneous relay operates instantaneous, that is without intentional time delay. However, no relay operates instantaneously in zero time. Therefore, it operates 20 to 40 milliseconds. This type of relay has only current setting and no time setting. When the current exceeds the pickup value, the operating time is constant irrespective of the magnitude of the current. Now here we have kept the seen the instantaneous. Suppose if we keep the 0.1 ampere hour setting or a 0.5 ampere hour setting, current goes beyond that, it will immediately operate with 20 to 40 millis, because everything has its time for the operation. So it will operate after 20 to 40 milliseconds. Next. Now with a current graded scheme, the relays are set to pick up progressively higher value of current towards the source. And the relay employed in scheme instant over current. The operating time is kept same for all relay to protect the difference. Here in instantaneous relay, we have the current setting, but time we do not have the time delay. We do not provide. We keep all relay operating instantaneously. Only when the fault current goes beyond certain value, then this will operate. Next. Now this is the diagram of an instantaneous relay. When bus 1 has highest pickup, we have said, bus 2 has a lower, and bus 3 is a still lowest. So here, because whenever the fault is taking place, the fault current will be maximum at the source, then it will be reducing towards the load. So we should keep the pickup value as a maximum at the, because there is no time discrimination. So only with the help of the current, only we have to discriminate the zone. The disadvantage is that suppose there is a chance fault is taking place near the border, then it will not able to isolate where it has operated. So the fault is in the healthy section also can be chance of getting operating. So there is a chance of mal operation. Next. Now definite time over current relay. Here definite time over current relay operates after the predetermined time when the current exceeds the pickup value. So here we have two settings. One is the time as well as other is the current. So when the current exceeds the set value and time also exhausted, the relay will operate. Hence the relay current as well as time. The operating time is constant irrespective of the magnitude of the current above pickup value. Here the major disadvantage is that because if we have said 0.5 ampere is the current setting and 0.1 second, suppose if 0.1 second we have kept as a time delay, then irrespective of the current is 0.5 is there, the 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, after all the 0.5 time will be taken will be same. That is the main disadvantage. It does not discriminate how much is the current, accordingly the time should be taken. Next. So here this is the only time will be the factor that will differentiate the different zone. Next. Now, ID inverse time characteristic. So if the current is high and the time will be less. So this is the diagram. If the current is more, the time will be less. And next will be the IDMT, inverse definite minimum time. Next slide, sir. As the name suggests, the time of operation is inversely proportional to the fault current. This is most widely that it operates very quickly for the fault near the source. So here what happens, when the current is high, it should be discriminate the fault. So it should be isolated as early as possible. And if current is low, then if the time grading will be there, so it operates slowly. So here this is important as the more severe faults are cleared very quickly. So these relays are used in the field. But after that, next slide. Inverse definite, this type of relay wide utilities in the actual field. Actual field means utilities like JETCO. We are using the IDE backup relay with IDMT characteristics, inverse definite minimum time. So when initially the characteristics of the relay follows inverse law, then after the current becomes high, it follows the definite minimum operating time. So both the things are involved. Next. IDMT relays are employed in schemes. The current setting of the relay is made according to the fault current level of the particular section to be protected. The relay are set up progressively higher at the current at the higher time towards the source. The relays are set to pick up progressively at higher current and a higher time towards the source, because higher current will be what happens whenever the fault is taking place near the source, there will be a large amount of current. Fault current will be very high. So we keep the time setting will be more. But as we go towards the source, fault current will be less, because the impedance of the line will be coming in the picture. At the time towards the load, we keep the time setting as a low, so that there won't be any maloperation of the relay, so that while isolating the faulty section, the healthy section may not get isolated. So this is the IDMT characteristics. Next, IDMT characteristics. Here when the current is high, it will take less time. When the current is less, the time will be more. Next. Next, sir. Now, there are two types of line we discussed: radial line and non-radial ring main. So radial line use the non-directional overcurrent relay having only current setting, and ring main the directional overcurrent outflow having current and voltage setting. Now, characteristic is common for above both the line. IDMT characteristic or is same for radial as well as ring. But in overcurrent non-directional line, it is only a current setting. But in ring main, it is a current as well as voltage setting. Next. Now, what is whenever any power system is network is being fed from the single source, it is called radial network. When the fault is taking place, the current will be fed from the single line only, because there is only single source. There is not dual source. So fault will not be fed from the two sources. So the time coordination will be from highest at the source and lowest at the load point. So whenever the fault is taken, whenever we want to coordinate the time, we have to keep the time highest at the source, because the highest is because the fault current will be highest at the source end, and there will be less fault current at the load. So lowest time will be at the load point. Next. To avoid the mal-operation with IDMT characteristic radial fitting, you can put single relay towards the source and no relay required towards the load end of the line. But to be more precise in practice, we provide direct, non-directional relay at both ends so that one relay does not operate. Then the formal. Okay, generally it is a practice to provide the only one relay in the load end side and no relay at the source end side. But to have a perfect operation, suppose preceding side in the suppose adjacent line there is a fault and there is a chance that relay does not operate, then the previous relay will operate as a backup. But if the load and relay operates, then there is a chance to avoid the mal operation. Next. Now, how the as it is a radial line, how the yes, as it is a radial line, it will be non-directional only, as the fault current will be fed from the source end only. It is economical to overcurrent and one earth fault relay, one Y-phase relay will be spared. So in practice, what happens? We do not use the 3 overcurrent relay, but we use the 2 overcurrent relay and 1 earth fault relay. So one overcurrent will be spared. So and we use the 1 earth fault relay. So whenever there is a balanced current will be there won't be any relay operating. But suppose R phase and B phase use as a overcurrent, and after star point we use as a Y phase as a earth fault. So what happens? In R and Y phase, R and B phase use as a overcurrent relay, and Y phase after star point use as a earth fault. So when the fault current is more than the plug PS in any relay, it will operate with PMS set depending upon the fault. In phase fault, only R and B phase will be operate. In the ground fault, earth will be reversed. So whenever suppose our setting is 1 ampere and it's 300 by 1 CT ratio used. Suppose if current goes below 300 ampere, means secondary more than 1 ampere, then what happens? In R phase relay or B phase will operate. Suppose if any of the phase, but if any fault is taking place at that time, if R phase is grounded, then R phase and earth fault there will be an unbalanced current and that will flow in the earth fault relay. So R phase and earth fault relay will operate. Next. In the overload condition, that is current more than plus setting is normal condition, and R and B will operate in Y condition there is no relay. So that I explained you. Next. So this is the radial system, how the relays are kept in the radial system. Only one source from the left side, there is no source, only so one relays are kept. Now what is the plus setting and time dial? The value of plus setting is always greater than the maximum full load current of the line. While deciding the PS of any relay with reference to another relay, the relay pickup, suppose we are having a 300 ampere by 1 CT used for the line, and if it is a DOC conductor, or if it is a Panther conductor, we use a 600 by 1 CT. So what is the loading capacity of our conductor that we have to see? Suppose if we keep 600 by 1, so whenever 600 line current is flowing on the primary side of the conductor, ampere current will be flow in the secondary, and if we put a plug setting as a 1, then up to 300 or 600 ampere there will be overloading. But when it goes beyond that, either due to the fault or overloading of the line, at that time, depending upon the fault current, the relay will operate. Next, flux setting of ground relay are lower than the phase relay. This is because of the fact that the magnitude of the current, generally we keep as a 1 ampere flux setting as a phase relay, 1 ampere flux setting, and time suppose 0.1 second, 0.05 second, or 0.125 second. And in earth fault relay we keep the 0.2 and 0.2. We keep minimum because after the star point the earth fault relay is connected, and this is flux setting of ground relays are lower than the phase. This is because of the fact that the magnitude of the earth fault current is reduced due to the tower footing resistance, fault resistance, ground resistance, and zero sequence impedance of the system. Further, the ground relay are connected in the residual circuit of the three line circuit. So all these impedance come in the picture, and our fault, our main earth fault current will be very, very low, and after 0.2 seconds it will get isolated. So there are two things. First is the flux setting and time delay. And in overcurrent relay and earth fault relay we kept 0.2 second and 0.2 second, or 0.2 second or 0.125 second. Next, the time delay of relay is selected in such a way that the downstream relay near the load achieves the lowest possible time of operation for overload or fault near the. As we move towards the upstream side source, the value of TDS progressively increases. The TDA is chosen so that it gives the desired selective interval from downstream relay at the maximum. So what happens? As I explained you earlier, our time delay should be maximum at the load point and minimum at the source point, because at the maximum fault current will be maximum at the fault load point. So time delay should be maximum. Otherwise, it may mal-operate, and fault current will be lowest at the load point. So that time delay is if it is kept higher, then relay will not operate. So we have to do the grading accordingly, going from the load point to the source source point to the load point. Next. Next.
Hello, sir. Sorry for disturbing you. I think our webinar timing is over. So it is 11:03.
Okay. I think
So
I are pending. So
because sir,
not
our next webinar is planning from 11 to 12. So we will discuss, or we will continue for the in our next webinar. Okay, sir.
No, what I suggest is, like, from here, if we want to continue, then
actually, sir, we have planning from 11 to 12. Okay.
Not just now, not today. In after 3 days or like that.
Okay, okay, sir. We can plan it.
So
okay,
so we can complete. Sir. No problem.
Okay. So thank you very much, sir, on behalf of Parul University for delivering the very good webinar on the different power system. You have just shown us the basic, from very basic or very good explanation regarding the different component which are used for the protection. You have just revised our basic fundamental regarding the different component which are used in the protection. So on behalf of our university, we are grateful, or we are thankful to deliver this very wonderful session. Thank you very much, sir.
Sure. My pleasure, and next time also you can arrange.
Okay. Thank you.
If anybody is having any Okay,
Sir,
okay.
okay. Thank you very much, sir.
For any query, anybody is having queries, they can ask. He or she can ask.
Actually, sir, right now
Do
there
you
is
want
no.
to stop?
Yes, sir, we can stop now, sir.
Okay, okay, no. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.